Okay, I am Emily, the favorite granddaughter, and back to the family history interview. I just want to ask you, what do you remember Grandpa's first job apart from being in the Navy?
He worked at the battery, where they made batteries, and he done that part-time at school. He was going to school and doing that. So he done that, and then he went into the Navy.
And then what did he do when he got out of the Navy?
He worked at Westinghouse Electric on Genesee Street.
What did he do there?
And electronics. And he never really liked it. He'd come home on Monday with a headache. He hated being there. Then Uncle Ernie said, you know, I'm going into the office, into supervision, you know, come along with me. That's not my kind of thing. I cannot sit at a desk and do that. So then he went into the service, and when he came out, he got into Uncle Joe's brother had auto supply, batteries and windshield wipers and any kind of supplies for cars. And so Grandpa worked in the warehouse there, and then they put him on the road as a salesperson. So he was a salesperson until he left.
Did he like doing sales?
Yeah, he liked that because he had all the south towns. He'd go all near Pennsylvania border, and he liked that. He liked being in the car and going. And he was a good talker. He would talk the ears off of a brass monkey. And but he liked. He had his customers were really great. When he was sick, they just would call all the time to see how he was doing. And when we had little babies, and I would make the fudge, and he would take. Okay, we just had a granddaughter. We just had a grandson. Aww. He would take things to. He was a proud peacock.
And then, what kind of jobs did you hold, or did you not have any after your?
No, I went to Fisher-Price after. I worked at the school. The kids were still small, so when they went to school, I could monitor up at Hillview, and then one girl there, she said, you know, my cousin works at Fisher-Price. Let's go give it a try. So that's how I got to Fisher-Price. She didn't stay. She couldn't handle. We worked nights, and that's Fisher-Price was my 21 years I was there. And that was another family. They were just wonderful, wonderful people. And I still keep in touch with them and see them.
Do you still have some of the little Fisher-Price
figurines
that we would play with?
I remember playing with
that's one of my
little castle, the drawbridge.
That's one of my earliest memories. He was playing in the back room, just like toys everywhere.
We love that little castle. And all the little people.
So what did you do specifically for Fisher-Price?
I started out in putting labels on wooden toys, and then I went into supervision. So I had to do the ordering and check specs to make sure drills were the right size and all that kind of stuff. And quarterly we would check to see how machines are running, if the girls are producing, what's going on. And that was fun. It was nice. Responsibility, but it was nice.
So you had a good time?
Yes, I did. I loved it. I loved it. Fisher-Price was really a family. You knew what you had to do and get everything ready for the next shift, make sure everything was ordered for them to have at least 1 hour start, and so it was good.
You mentioned that you worked nights. Was that hard?
No, I'm a night person.
But was it hard to be away from the kids and Grandpa?
No, because Grandpa I was never left the house till like 11 o'clock. So my kids were already bathed, they were in the house, and Grandpa stayed nights. So he got them off to school, and then I was home when they came home. So there was supervision all the time. That's why I took nights.
Oh, but wow, you left at 11 o'clock at night? And what time would you get home?
7:30, 7:45.
And then did you sleep during the day?
I slept till maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock, then get up and do the housework. That's when you had to put a meal on the table. So I had to cook, wash, and clean up after supper, and take a fast shower, and lay down maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock, and get up and go.
Wow, I can't imagine doing that. I need my sleep. Okay, well, let's move on to grandkids. So I guess, I don't, oh. Oh wait, are we still staying on?
Those are just some other questions that we could think about.
Okay, we'll hold off on grandkids for now. So I guess when our dads were growing up, what kind of sports did they play?
Baseball, football, hockey.
Who played hockey?
Uncle Mike. He has got a couple of nice bruises on his body, and
Did they ever break a bone or
no,
have serious
no,
injuries?
No. Got his teeth knocked out, Uncle Mike, with his two front teeth. Played right down the street here. Paul was swinging a bat and hit him right in the... Thank God it was only his teeth. If it would hit him in the head, he would have...
So your 3 boys growing up never broke any bones?
No.
That's remarkable.
Wow. How about any like major crises or like emergencies where you got
The
a phone
appendix.
call or
Uncle Joe with the appendix, that was
Okay.
the
How old was
emergency.
Uncle Joe when that happened?
He probably was 10 years old. And I don't feel good. I don't want to go to the baseball practice, and didn't make too much of it. And then it was on a Friday. Grandpa went to work on a Saturday. He had to work half day, and he wasn't feeling good. I said, Took him to the doctor. He said, get him into the hospital. So Aunt Sophie took us into the warehouse. We went from there we went to the hospital. And they done blood work and everything, and they never done surgery till like 5 o'clock. And then the surgeon come out, and he said, why did you wait so late? I said, what do you mean? I said, we've been here. And they didn't do the emergency, and they was just ready to burst. They opened him up. Because we were there. We were there before 12 o'clock.
What year is that?
Uncle Joe was 10.
1968.
68, yeah.
Yeah, so he was,
Yeah, I got him just in time.
that was, the doctor said, that's what he said when he came out, the surgeon. He said, why did you wait so long? I said, we've been here since 12 o'clock, before 12 o'clock, and this is surgery at 5 o'clock. So,
Hard to believe if it had been any longer, we might not be sitting here.
yeah, because at that time, that was a
was
very serious.
Yeah.
Antibiotics were out, but they weren't like they are today.
Yeah.
And Mary and I had gone to, they had screening for vascular and everything else. And it was at Sister's Hospital, that's where his surgery was. And the doctor there, Dr. Anine, I said to him, were you connected with the screening? Did you do surgery for stomach and everything? Yes, yes. I said, oh, my son, I'm sure you're the same man. Dr. Anine done the appendix. He said, that was me. He said, I was with Dr. Odessa, and Dr. Odessa was our doctor. And he just said, well, say hello to your son for me. And that was about 10 years ago that we went for the screening.
Neat.
Cool. So what about, I know they played sports when they were younger, but did any of them play sports in high school or
Oh,
college?
yes, they did. They played
Did they all do
high
it?
school. They did high school. They did. Yes, they played the basketball. Uncle Joe was right into basketball. And track, your father and Uncle Jim done track. And your father did start with football, but he didn't stay with that. It was cliquish. It was cliquish, so he didn't stay with that. And baseball was very good, and Uncle Jim was very, very good with football, with baseball. And the one coach, he said, well, we'll have him as a pitch hitter. Well, when they had somebody that could not hit, they would put Uncle Jim in there, and he could really bat that ball. He was very powerful. There's a place in Como Park that nobody's ever done. Hit that ball right over that building, and then they would take them to Erie County Prison there for the prisoners to, they would have a game, and that's another place your father hit the ball right over.
Wow.
Was this in high school?
No, this was still grade school.
Grade school?
Wow.
Did Uncle Jim ever consider playing in college? Did we?
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
this wasn't.
No, they never did. But he was a good ball player. But they did play. Uncle Joe done the basketball, and your father done the, I guess, the track and that kind of thing. There weren't. They did belong to the ski club, and that, but they didn't have the activities that they have in school now. The golfing and all that. That was not curriculum.
Okay, well, let's move on to grandkids. So I guess Katie, you're the oldest
Yes.
grandkid? I guess let's go back to when you found out you were having your first
Oh my
child.
God, it was, and it's a girl. We hadn't had a girl in all those years. That was a big, 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 big thing. That was, you know, Aunt Julie was the last girl of the Cabrera family. So that was, my God, this is a godsend. We have a girl.
Oh. And you had 3 in a row.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, we outnumber all the boys. Right?
Mhm.
By quite a bit, actually.
8, that's right. 8 is a big number.
So I mean, let's go back to that day. What did you? Were you dancing with joy? To find
Oh my
out
God,
girl?
it was just, the world just opened up.
Were you guys there when it happened? Were you at the
No.
Where was Katie born?
Millers Fillmore. And Debbie across the street at that time, she worked at the hospital, and Kathy and Uncle Mike were going in, and Debbie was coming home, and she knew that, you know, but Katie was a hard birth.
Oh.
You know, and Kathy stopped dilating, the pain stopped and everything, and she had a B-sectioned. So, but that's Debbie coming. They have their baby yet? So we knew then that she was in the hospital. Not hearing anything. Well, okay, her labor stopped. She's probably on her way back home. But that was it. She had a very difficult birth.
So were you in the hospital for any of our births?
No.
No? You just heard about
They
it?
didn't do that back then. You didn't go to the hospital. It was just the father and the mother. It's not like they do now. Everybody gets together and
Videotape. Oh.
I could handle that.
Now, when Ryan was born, he was born a month early. Did you believe Dad when he called you?
well, you know, I was thinking, is it really? You know, why is this? Is everything okay? Is he okay? I think that was the thing, but that was another thing. Your dad was at the dentist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got a call. Your mom was at the doctor's, and heartbeat, I guess, was up and down and no heartbeat. And
The cord was wrapped around his neck.
yeah.
And now at that point, was Grandpa still? Did he know what was going on?
Oh, Grandpa was fine. Yes, he was okay then. And but by the time Ryan was born, Grandpa was gone. But you know, let's see. Yeah, that's right. No, he wasn't around then.
No, because he saw our brother Joe.
Yeah,
and Joe
that's right. He's seen Joe.
later.
He's seen Joe. That's
Because
right.
Joe was done in November, and then like two weeks later.
October was, he knew of the birth of Joey, like when Joe was born. He knew that. And then Joey was 10 days old, and they came here, and Grandpa held him the night before he died. He was, your dad put him in his arms, and he held him. He knew it was a boy, and it was Joe, and that. But Ryan, he never got to see. And yeah, so.
But he knew I was on the way.
Oh yes, he knew Annie was on the way, and he knew Annie was on the way. He didn't know what Annie was going to be, a girl or a boy, and like we always said, didn't care what, as long as it was healthy. That was our main. But we were elated. We had girls.
So can you share with us some fond memories, just maybe of when we were young, kids running around the house? Do you have
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Katie used to
Did we
play.
cause trouble or
No, because there was always a group together. You used to always play together. It was always, I want this here part, like with the chickens or the whatever. Katie played with the little chickens all the time.
Yes.
She liked the little chickens. And the castle. You and your brother would argue. I want to do this, I want to do that. But there was no big bad things.
Dominoes is big.
We played War. We used to play the card game War with you all the time.
Right.
Oh yes, I remember
Old
that.
maid.
I remember there's a video of us at Christmas time. We sang Happy Birthday to Jesus. We're
Aw.
like this big, you know.
That was a fun time. When the kids came, it was always, you know, they all done their own kind of thing, and you see this one do this one do that, and the kids always got together good. There were no fighting, or they might have been, that's mine, I want it, but they got along good.
So what kind of traits do you see that run through our family that may have been passed down from you to our parents down to us?
I'd have to think about that.
Well, you said me loving animals.
I mean,
That's
there's
passed down
Amy
for
and her
sure.
animals, and then there's a lot of, I guess Annie says that she and her dad don't eat eggs, and then there's,
Oh, that kind of thing, okay.
you know, how a lot of us don't eat or don't drink milk.
Oh,
Do
that
you
would,
notice anything like that? Do you notice any traits that
well,
run through
see,
the
mine always had milk with the cereal. Uncle Jim didn't because he was not a milk drinker, and that, so I really can't think of anything that. They all like goodies. They all like sweets.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
They all like, you know, that kind of thing, and they all like donuts.
It's hard not to like donuts.
Do they all like beer?
Yes, they did.
Oh, tell them about.
I'm pretty sure they all like beer.
I asked Grandma earlier this week if she had any cravings when she was pregnant with the 3 boys and tell them what.
I never had cravings, but I love the smell of beer. I love the smell of beer, and
You were having boys.
And she never
and-
drank beer.
and I never drank beer, never tasted it, and the boys all like beer. And when I was growing up, Grandpa would have a bottle of beer, and he had a real big chute that he would put it in, and Auntie Patty and Auntie Ida would stand in line, and he'd let him have a little bit. I never done that because just never liked it. I never tasted it, didn't like the smell. Yeah, when I was pregnant, oh my God, that beer was like, it smelled so good. So they
That's great.
inherit not only the smell of the beer, but the taste of the beer.
Yeah, I try to make sure wherever I go visit, I try to bring Dad back a little something local. So we've had beer from all over the place.
And Uncle Jim never ate pasta, where everybody else loved pasta. Grandpa didn't like pasta either. So then for them, I would do something different, and then we would have the pasta. And then one time, Grandpa said, you know, just let me have a little bit of that. And next time, well, I'll have a little bit more. So then after that, I didn't have to cook separate, but I would either do, you know, they would eat the sausage or the meatballs, but not the pasta.
Wait, Grandpa didn't like pasta either?
I didn't know that one.
I didn't know either. And you never just made Dad eat pasta?
No, I never made him if he didn't want it.
It's like such a staple. I mean, it rules out so
I
many
love
easy
It
dishes.
does rule out a lot of
No,
dinners.
see, for them, I would do usually sausage was in the sauce and meatballs, and then I would cook potatoes, and they would have theirs at that.
Here's a question. We know that people have always called Amy Papuga. So where does that come from?
Because she was a talker,
And Papuga means
parrot.
in Polish.
And who came up with that for me? Like, was there a certain person who said that?
Was it you?
It could have been, they said, you know, Amy talks all the time. She never keeps quiet. I said, oh, like a parrot, like a papuga.
Aww.
What was the happiest moment in your life so far?
You mean marriage or after or what?
All of it.
Well, getting married first, having the right mate. And then when your first child arrives, it's like, oh, I can't believe this is mine. And like Grandpa would always say, I got to think of that now. He'd always say, a Joe Roll production. Blessed by God, blessed by God. He would have them in that little seat. A Joe Roll production, blessed by God.
That's That's adorable. That's a cute little catchphrase.
I'm totally gonna put that on some kind of plaque and put it in
Yeah.
my kitchen.
Yeah.
Aw.
Do you have any family heirlooms or any special items that were passed down from your parents or
Yes,
Grandpa Joe's
yes,
parents?
yes. I have some from great grandma Kabira, and I have some from my mother.
what are they?
Grandma had a store and a cut glass bowl that she had candy. You know, they'd sell probably 10 pieces for a penny or whatever. That is really ancient. And great grandma Kabira, I have a picture that she bought me. It had flowers on it. And then she had given me a dish with like a little bridge on it, and that I have too. So, because Aunt Julie lived with her mother, so Aunt Julie really, anything that was there, Aunt Julie took. And then that one table I had that your mom has, that was great grandma Kabira's, and she gave that to me too. And then they had it refinished, and your mom has that. So there are probably other little pieces around, but the glass, that kind of a thing I do have. So.
Okay, and I think that wraps up for this section.
Before we go on to Gabrielle's going to talk about ancestry, is there anything you want to tell us that we didn't cover before we get to the
Not that I
ancestry?
can think of right
Okay.
now. You know, but I want to call Dan, so
Okay.
they'll be here at 1 o'clock. Okay, we'll
all right.
continue
Take a
later
pause.
on, because